Alright, we are back to continue our to the 24-hour live stream. Um, so I'm feeling pretty brain smashed right now. So I'm not really. What we're gonna do is I'm just gonna skip right to the Gale 2. It's a fairly. It'll be kind of more similar to first impressions or mini walkthrough or something than just to what I've been doing. And if there's still if after an hour and a half I still feel like I could go a little bit more, then we'll switch over to Lords of the Fallen. I think we're definitely not going to get every game. We got most of the games though. I'll say that. But so let's go ahead and get that started. Guild 2. No, it's not installed. I thought it was installed. Alright, well, we'll install it then. It's not that big. It'll take a very short amount of time. It's only 2 gigs, 2.2 gigs, so it'll install pretty quickly here. I'll download and install pretty quickly. So the Guild 2 is a pretty interesting game. So it's kind of like a town builder, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's like a dynasty simulator. So what happens is you start with a character. You build that character's reputation up, build up their abilities with their chosen profession. Then you find a partner, marry them, have kids, and then you control the kids, and you basically have a dynasty that you create that way. And the goal is to have your dynasty outlast the other dynasties. And that could be from any number of things. It could just be naturally. It could be from stuff that you do to, kind of kill off a dynasty. So, for example, if you hire an assassin or assassinate somebody, or do something to have, like, say you have say that you somehow find your way into the magistrate to be the magistrate of the town, and you want to try and knock off a rival family, then you can bring them up on charges or something. It's kind of interesting what you can do with it. It's a really deep game, and there's a somewhat steep learning curve. We'll go through the tutorial just so you kind of get an idea. I'm gonna have to fix this. It's loading up with the intro videos don't work. Not sure why. Just never have worked for me. On every computer I've had, they have never worked properly. So let's go ahead and set the resolution here. Oh, we do have. Okay, good. Texture resolution. You want high, range of sight, normal ground mini mapping or mip mapping very high, model detail very high, or I guess high, flag detail high, and object transparency normal, I guess. Render grass and animals. Outdoor lights, high, character shadow, water reflection, shadows, and bloom shader. That bloom shader's kind of... It's not the best. I don't think it'll matter that much. to restart the game real quick. So I've sunk a lot of time into this game, not as much as some other games, but 40 hours is a pretty long time for me. Alright, that looks a bit better. So we're gonna go single player, tutorial. Well, the tutorial's gonna take up a lot of this. The tutorial and this is really crazy. It's pretty in depth. It's probably like about 45 to 50 minutes long. I'll just do a tutorial myself of it as we go through. So here we have our your game creation modes. You have a couple of maps you can choose from. They all have different types of so for example, you have Nottinghamshire, Hucknall, and then you have another version of it. So it's like you have different versions of the same maps, the different specific kind of resources everywhere. The one I usually try and do... This is interesting. This is the same map. There's nothing different, really. It's always... I've never actually tried a single town map. What I usually try and do is... I usually do the Hills of Lion or Lion, Macon, and Belly. Just because it has it's kind of the more, it's the most kind of I find that's the most kind of you know, developed map. I haven't played the other ones that much, but I think they use this one in the tutorial too. So we have our options here. So hometown is random, or you can select it. I'm gonna select it to be on Lion. I'll go with Macon. It's a smaller town, so it'll be harder to start there. We'll set up 6 dynasties. Difficulty, we'll leave it as normal. So game mode. This tells you what you want. It shows you what you want to do. So you have extinction, which is basically you're trying to kill off the other dynasties. Dynasty mode is kind of like an endless mode. You're just building up a dynasty, and whatever happens, happens. The game doesn't end until your dynasty ends. Time limit is around, based on time limit. Whoever has the most powerful dynasty at the end of it wins. And mission is a specific mission. So like get rich, get so much money, get to such a high, get to a certain point in your renown. Become a prosecutor, become a criminal. I tend to usually do dynasty or extinction mode. So it's usually dynasty mode because that's the best kind of sandbox sort of mode. You don't really have to worry about other dynasties trying to kill you off intentionally. It could still happen, but that's not what they're attempting to do. It's not the focus of the game. It's just to kind of have your dynasty do its thing. We are going to have 6 other dynasties. And then down here you choose your coat of arms for your dynasty. They say dynasty, I say dynasty, and I say dynasty and dynasty. And I'll say it either way. Always. It doesn't really matter what coat you choose. Other than just, your preference. Generally, I usually pick this one or this one. I could go with this one this time. So, start. So now you have to choose your character. Character name, last name, sex, and religion. So you have Protestant and you have Catholic. Zodiac sign. So your zodiac sign will give you different things. So Aries will give you 1 Constitution. Taurus will give you +1 to Rhetoric. Gemini will give you +1 to Dexterity. Cancer will give you +1 to Empathy. Leo is +1 to Martial Arts. Virgo is +1 to Arcane Knowledge. Libra is 1 to Charisma. Scorpio +1 to Stealth. Sagittarius +1 to Arcane Knowledge. Some of them are the same. 1 to Handicraft for Capricorn. Aquarius is +1 to Bargaining, and Pisces is +1 to Empathy. Then you have your class, which is basically what your job will be. So patrons are building and professions concerned with food production, processing, and end production. So processing the first stage of food, like wheat into bread, and then processing bread into some other thing. It's kind of easy to get a lot of money with this class because of the fact that the food chain is food production chain is simulated with using common people, as I say. So in other words, the entire populace will buy your stuff, as opposed to maybe if you're a craftsman, only maybe a certain range of wealthy or well-off people will be buying your stuff. At the same time, you don't necessarily make a ton of money, but you make enough that if you have a corner on the market, shall we say, you can make just as much, if not more, as a craftsman. So yeah, planting seeds, raising animals, processing pies, baking bread, all that kind of stuff. Patrons also have a bonus that they can run inns, which allows you to basically run an inn. So that's also a very lucrative thing as well. Craftsmen allow you to. It's basically like the blacksmiths and whatnot. Craftsmen can also, I think, mine resources. So yeah, so carpenter, tailor, smith, tradespeople. That's craftsmen are very. It's with the craftsmen, it's very easy to gain political power as well. Just because if the city starts buying a lot of your weapons for the guard or something like that, you have like an inn that way. I do think they can mine, and one thing that craftsmen can make a lot of money with is mining gems. Just keep that in mind. Scholars are, they can be priests, they can be writers, they can be herbalists. They can. So scholar class offers the greatest scope, especially when players wish to enter politics and nobility. Scholar's talent focuses on giving an advantage over even a craftsman when it comes to diplomacy or the murkiest depths of politics. So caring for the soul's congregation. As a priest, mixing dark potions as a warlock. Potions so dark in nature, so it's heresy. All sorts of things. Even being a professor at a school, at a university. And then you have the rogue, which are the highwaymen and burglars and kidnappers and murderers and pickpockets, stuff like that. Extortion, racketeers. The stuff that kind of is on the edge. Now, as for the talents, pretty much no matter what you want to do, you want to start out doing Constitution. Not like more, but you want to do Constitution maybe every other 2 points or something. And that's because, or 2 things that you buy, because this will increase the length of your your character's life. So the higher the constitution, the longer your character will live, and the more health they'll have. So it's a good idea to have constitution being fairly high early on, so that you have more life. Dexterity, it also increases your number of inventory slots too. So dexterity is important for speed of movement, dodging in battle, pickpocketing, burglary, and dodging in a duel. Charisma is good for romantic stuff, as well as somewhat political as well. Martial arts, obviously, fighting. That's what that's for. Handicrafts helps you increase your production speed in a business. Stealth, obviously, concealing illegal actions. Rhetoric is mainly for politics and also courting behavior, courting actions. Empathy, seeing through political tricks and things like that. Bargaining, so it increases your either cheaper loans and gives you a bonus in selling goods. And arcane knowledge is good for length of artifacts, as well as letting the artifacts use them more quickly. So how you get these is you actually will get experience points throughout the game by completing certain objectives, or what have you. Getting reputation increases, having your various skills in like production and things like that increasing, having kids, getting married, events. Basically life events will get you experience points. You use those experience points to then raise your talents. So for this guy, we're gonna have him be a patron. That's usually the easiest way to start out. We're gonna change his name though. Matthias. Oh. Right. Matthias. Clutch, I guess we'll say. Patron, his will be Aries for the Constitution increase. We'll make him a Protestant male. We'll add 1 to Constitution, 1 to Charisma, 1 to Handicrafts, and then 1 to Bargaining. This is with 100. We'll put that into Rhetoric. So I think this shows you how the abilities are in terms of like how they impact the chosen class. Yeah. So characters with or talents with a plus by them are talents that will aid you tremendously in your chosen profession. These are ones that have no effect, and the minus ones are the ones that you don't really have don't have that much of an impact on your chosen profession. Somewhat. I mean, like for example, handicrafts is still going to be useful. The difference is though is that bargaining, empathy, and constitution are going to be more valuable to your character based on the patron class. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Sign those again since those got unassigned. Alright, and then we're going to continue. So now we can change our appearance. Hairstyle.
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
My grain is not mouldy.
This plague of rats has me at my wit's end.
Providing for body and soul can be a heavy responsibility.
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
My grain is not mouldy.
This plague of rats has me at my wit's end.
Providing for body and soul
Honest
can be
beer,
a heavy
no
responsibility.
less. God bless.
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
My grain is not mouldy.
Alright. That's pretty good, I guess. Alright, so start out just with your hut. And mark it in the council. So over here will be your buildings that are important to you. Once you have a store, it'll show up over here. So that's a little bit kind of, I don't know, it's a little weird.
My grain is not mouldy.
So what we want to do then is we want to go in here and we want to buy some building. We want to find some sort of like a bakery or something, and we want to buy it. To start out with. So you click on it, and then so we have 4,000 gold right now. So we need way more than that to do that. So, okay. We need to think about some other place then for now. Robber's Nest. There's a mine over there. Now you could construct a building yourself too. So a croft. That is probably the best way to go, or a bake shop, depending on how you want to go. For now, I think we will do a croft. So it's basically going to be like a farm, essentially. Just need to find a place we can actually put it at. not quite what I had in mind. I could have bought this one. I didn't know it was over there. So our craft is called the Lusty Peasants. No, that's not good. We're right next to a robber's nest. Alright, so we're gonna select our...
Was? Let's go.
So you can actually control up to 3 members of your dynasty, and once you release control, you will not be able to control them again. So that's another important thing. So whatever the 3 most important people in your dynasty are, whichever ones you want to work on, those are the 3 you'll select.
A new building has been finished.
And then you'll be able to so we have some wheat, we have some sugar beets, and we have sheep, as far as what you can produce.
Blessed are those who do.
So we're gonna have it produce wheat for now because that's the easiest thing to do.
No source of raw materials can be found.
I must do something about these rodents, and quickly.
Oh right, we have to build a... Okay, we have to build a field, so that's 250. Okay, so we don't have any gold right now.
My grain is not mouldy.
So what we can do is... So
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
We'll have to do is we'll have to go to I guess
to work.
Let's see. Wealth, finances, victory, attitude, wealth, balance. Somewhere you're able to do loans.
Yes? This plague of rats has me at my wit's end.
So if we talk to this guy, I think we can get a loan from him.
What is it? This plague of rats has me at my wit's end. This plague of rats has me at my wit's end. If that's all it is, let's go.
How do I haven't played this in a while, so.
With pleasure. To work.
So, crap. I may have already screwed this up. I know you can get a loan somewhere. I just don't know where. I can't remember where.
What is it?
Alright, damn. Might have already screwed the pooch on this one. There was no autosave. Alright, we'll start this again. Alright, so first thing we need to do is we need to,
If that's all it is, let's go.
is that we need to, again, it's still 4K, which is exactly what we have, so we don't want to do that. We want to try and build up some money somehow.
Honest beer, no less. God bless.
So the best way to do that is to actually buy stuff and then sell it in another town. I think early on. Oh, 4,300, because it has a croft with it.
Honest beer. And now what?
Alright, so usually, herbal tea is a good one we can try and sell somewhere. So what we'll do is just select on the slider how much we want to buy. Character. Drop it into the inventory.
Inventory is full.
Oh. Then we can take these herb teas and try selling them at some other town.
With pleasure. And now what?
Granted, what you would normally do is you would have a cart or something that you would do. But for whatever reason, we're not starting out with that much gold. Kind of just weirdly laggy. Okay, it's a lot smoother now. I think the bloom has got some issues or something. Waiting for a guy over here. So, sell for 83. So actually, we didn't sell it for quite as much. But, yeah. I think I need to do the tutorial. One of them anyway, I won't do all of them. I just need to do the beginning one. So I've completely forgotten them. Oh, we can't even start till we do all the stuff. Damn it. Alright, well, we'll do the tutorial.
Welcome to the first chapter of the tutorial for the Guild 2. I will show you how to control the camera and your character and...
Okay, mission book. General controls.
Pay attention now while I explain to you in simple steps how to operate. With the camera, you can not only observe the world from up above, but you can also zoom in close on buildings and characters. Hold down the right mouse button to move the camera. Hold down both mouse buttons to rotate the camera freely. And the mouse wheel allows you to zoom in and out. Now move the camera a little to try this out. Well done. Now you know how to control the camera in the Guild 2. Next, I will teach you how to move your character. First, you need to know that you can always select characters and objects with...
Work is my passion.
Well done. If you have selected a building as the goal for a movement, your character will enter the building, unless it is the residence of a competitor. You will find a variety of functions on the edges of the screen. I will explain those that are important right now. Whenever you have selected a character, a building, or a cart, the portrait and name appear at the upper left edge of the screen. If you have selected a character other than your own, you can tell your dynasty's favor from the expression in the portrait, but a quick glance at the portrait can give you a wealth of information. You will learn to appreciate this during the course. You will find the message bar on the left edge of the screen. Whenever you see a small parchment here, you have received a message. In the game, you can use the filter to set which messages you no longer wish to receive. If you direct your attention to the lower edge of the screen, you will see the action bar. If you have selected a character, a building, or a cart,
And down there.
What is it?
as you have seen, your character can wear armor and carry a weapon. In addition, you also have room for other objects, but more on that. Among the icons on the lower right edge of the screen is one called Important People. Left-clicking on this icon opens a window where you can see an overview of all important people. Your family, your friend, for example. If you want to bribe an office holder before an election, you can use this overview if you do not know where that person is to be found. Left-clicking on the globe on the lower right edge of the screen will open the map. With its help, you can not only find your characters, carts, employees. Well done. Now you know how to make the map work for you. Congratulations on completing the first chapter.
So that's basically general stuff.
Welcome to the second chapter of the tutorial for the Guild 2, where I will explain the characters, especially your own character. First, I will explain the character overview. Open this now by clicking on the icon titled Dynasty on the lower right edge of the screen. The character document contains all the data and values that describe your character. The left half of the document is taken from the character portrait and your status. Your character's talents and abilities are in the right half. The more EP a character has collected, the higher the character's level. Among other things, how well a business can be expanded depends on the character's level. After all, a master has to have a certain degree of experience to be able to run a business properly. EP can also be used to improve talents. For example, if you want to increase the talent Handicraft by a level, you will have to use EP for it. The level you have achieved will remain unaffected. Depending on your character's class, one talent can be improved at lower EP costs and another for higher. This is shown with the plus and minus signs. Now increase a talent by 1 level.
So that means that for charisma, it costs more over time to put points into this than, or well, for stealth than it does for, like, say, constitution for this particular character.
Well done. Now we come to your character's special abilities. Switch to the tab Abilities for the overview of your abilities. Grant a character advantages over other people. For example, being able to carry more than others, thus earning more experience points for completed actions. You can learn your first ability at the second character level, then another when you reach levels 4, 7, and 10. Now choose a level 2 ability for your character.
So I usually try to go with Mentor because that helps you increase your worker level.
Well done. Now we will explain your family tree. For this, switch to your dynasty's family tree using the tab Family Tree. The family tree shows all the members of your family. However, the most important function of the family tree is the option of adding a family member to the player group and removing him or her again. To add a family member to the player group, all you have to do is select that person by left-clicking in the family tree and then clicking on the button Add to Group. Do this now by adding your character's wife to the player group. As you can see, your character's wife is now in your player group, and you can control her. Finally, I will familiarize you with the 4 character classes in the Guild too. 4 representatives of the classes are waiting for you in the marketplace. You will recognize them by the question marks. Send your character to the market. Then select the action Talk to Someone in your character's action bar, and click on one of the waiting people as a target.
Variatio delectat.
Was? That won't take long. As good as done.
Greetings. As a patron, I am responsible for everything dealing with the creation, processing, and final production of foodstuffs. My farm delivers the raw materials that my bakery and my inn use to make delicious food and drink.
Greetings. As a craftsman, I belong to the hard-working, upright population of any town, above all other character classes. Without my smithy, there would be neither tools nor swords. Without my carpenter shop, there would be neither walking sticks nor axes. And without my tailor shop, no one would have anything to wear. That won't take long.
Greetings. As a scholar, I raise myself above the riffraff with my great knowledge of Christian teachings and all kinds of other mystic secrets. For while I concern myself with the salvation of my community as a priest, as an alchemist, I brew the most wonderful potions and transform lead into gold.
Hail and well met. You can trust in me. Or don't you believe I'm an honest businessman? Oh well. They say that as a thief I break into the wealthy mansions, and that as a robber I lie in wait on the well-travelled trade routes.
Congratulations, you have completed the second chapter of our tutorial. Now you know how the character document works, what experience points are and how they are used, and how to view and use your family tree. You have also learned about the 4 character classes of the Guild too.
Alright, all the buildings.
Welcome to the 3rd chapter of the tutorial for the Guild. Once you have founded a new family dynasty, your first step is to build a business. To do this, click on the hammer icon on the lower left corner of the screen. This is the complete list, divided into 5 groups of all the buildings that you can build as a player, provided your character has the appropriate character class, the appropriate level, and the appropriate title. Now select the Craftsman tab to see all the buildings that you are allowed to build as a craftsman. In front of you is a list of all the buildings in the Craftsman class. As a second level craftsman, you have a choice of the smithy, the carpenter shop, and the tailor shop, each at the first building level. To erect a building, simply click on it. The building list will close, and the building you selected will appear as a ghost object on your mouse pointer.
I don't need this anymore. I know what
Move the camera normally in this mode.
You can't go straight to a croft.
If the building is colored red, the construction
You have to start
area
off
is
at the lower
unfavorable, and you should find a different place. However, if the building is green, you can build it with a left click. Now build the smithy in the first building level.
And yes, there are
the fountain.
issues with this game like that. It's not bug free, but it works as well as it should. Alright, so this, what we need to do now is we need to make a... before we go to a croft, we have to start off at the other end. Can't start at the production, it's too expensive. So we have to start off by either buying a bake shop or by building one. Price isn't much for sale. That's fine, I'll build it somewhere. So our house is right there. Alright, so build patron bake shop. Trying to remember what allows you to rotate. I think you're able to rotate it. What would be best at? Let's put it down here, right next to the entry here. It goes fit pretty well down here, right near the entrance. Alright, let's go and grab our guy.
Providing for body and to work.
So what we'll have to do is we'll have to go buy resources for this and then bring them back, produce it, and then sell the items. Once we have a good chain of supplies, good production on it. Then we can think about moving out and creating our own upstream buildings like a croft to build wheat or something, or grow wheat to use for the production of bread or something like that. It'll take it a while to build. So the green bars are building south. The gray bar is the production.
A
The
new
buildings-
building has been finished.
The buildings, oh, we got a worker right there. Is the, if it's being built or upgraded, that's the progress of it. So this is our inside of our workshop here. We don't have to be inside of it actually. Instead I've selected and went to go to production storeroom. So we have some wheat in our storeroom. From that we can make barley bread. So the wheat base is the cost is 21 to 36. You can sell barley bread for 42 to 57, or 31 to 41. Now it takes 1 wheat will produce 4 barley bread, so you buy for 23 to 36, and then you sell. Total sell is going to be like 200 total because you're making 4 of these from 1. So what we have to do now is we have to assign
Then, here it
somebody
goes.
to a particular item here in our production list. Now what we can do with this is we can set this to Alright, how do we... I guess we can do it manually. There should be a way to set this up as like an automatic route or something.
Nothing. Work.
So dispatch and unload vehicle. Open inventory. Send...
Nothing. Work.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go send this guy to the market real quick. And we're gonna go and buy wheat so we can have some more. I'm gonna throw my guy into here. And we're gonna also have him work on also have him work on that. So the more people you have working on something, the faster it'll be built. And based on your character's other traits, this will be faster. And then what will happen is that you'll build up your items in your store here, and you'll move them to your sales stock when you want to sell it. So once this reaches the top, we'll have 4 barley bread, and then we can put them in our sales stock. And as characters come in to buy the stuff, they'll take it. Let's go find our cart over here. Since our cart is here, we're going to go to food, and we're going to go, resources, and we're going to go to wheat. And you know what, we should also buy some sugar beets. Don't worry about spending too much money because
Be right there.
you can make it back pretty quickly. So now we have our stuff here. We're going to take all this and we're going to set it out here in our stock, and we're going to see if we can sell it. So right now, let's do an improvement on here, and let's increase the storage. So we'll have 1 extra slot, so we can store our sugar beets there. as time goes on, your workers will go do stuff. For example, like if there's a servant or something, your non-NPC employees will go and do their things they're gonna do. So either going home to sleep, going to servant, whatever. If you don't want to sell them here, you can also send them on a handcart and go sell them directly to the market. Either way works. Though selling them directly, it may be faster in the beginning because as you build the reputation, more and more people start coming to your shop. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to load this up into our cart, and we're going to take the cart and
Where would you like to
go
go?
to the market. For some reason I thought you could automate the carts, but maybe not. Or maybe you think, well, that would be the Guild 2. Guild 3 is not really complete enough to even play yet, as far as I know. I might be thinking of something else too. Might not be this one. So, selling for 33 a piece, and so we made 264 off of it. So that's a
Where
net
to?
profit.
Already on my way.
Of how much I'm not sure, but I know it's a net profit. So what do we got? Dynasty mode. New building isn't finished. Grain and gruel. Tip. Commit crimes. Make sure the city guard did not see you. Financial success, economic success, and accounting. That is created at the end of every game round. And then that whole thing again. So we'll let that go for a while. As far as I know, there's no way to speed up time in this game. I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can't speed up time. Which is fine.
Nothing but work.
Yeah, so we had somebody come in and buy one of these from us. So if I take a look at our character here, we are getting a little bit of experience. So as you're working, you're going to gain experience, a certain amount for each level. It's also dependent on the abilities. So actually we're going to do mentor real quick. Or no, we're not level 2 yet. Right? Or are we? Where is our level? Level 1, okay, yeah. We need to buy 150. We need to spend 150 experience points over here to get to level 2. So that's how you gain a level, is by using experience points over here. So that stuff's selling pretty good right now. Would be better just to do big biscuits because we get a little bit more out of them. So like you get specifically that much, not really a range. You get 39 gold for them. It does slow up. It does start out pretty slow, but it'll gradually pick up in speed. So I have a tip down here, so you can pause it. So what you can also do is, let's say that I'm going to check the price of bread here, so it's up to 37. Now we got a map, so we're up here in Lyon. Come down here to Market of Macon. We check. We can sell it for 50 here. 48. So still, it's a lot more. So what we can do is we can select our hand cart, which has nothing in it right now. So let's go to this, and we're going to take our items here. Then we're going to select our carts, and we're going to come over here. Or rather, we're going to select it, right-click it.
The wagon creeps.
Not right-click, we're going to use dispatch and unload to... Doesn't really matter where we click on. So, unload and return.
I hope I don't get robbed.
So now it'll go down there and sell off the merchandise at that particular market, then return. Hopefully it doesn't get. Let's see the high. This should. I don't know if there's. I guess there's people there. Hopefully it doesn't get hijacked or robbed or anything by these highwaymen. So that's something you have to be wary of. The more valuable your cart is, the more likely it is that they're going to stop and do something about it. Also, if you're if you have some sort of if they have some sort of grudge against you, they will also target your stuff as well. You can hire guards to accompany the carts, but that costs money. So unless you really want to protect, like if it's like something like really valuable, like a whole bunch of gems or a whole bunch of really valuable weapons or something. It's probably best not to hire any, unless you're sure that you're going to get attacked. So, sold all at for 546 cents returning. So now our worker is off somewhere. Oh shit! Okay, worker's going home, I think, or something. And our guy's still here though. So you can have them just working on it if you want to. It's a good idea to have them go home every once in a while, because what you can do is at the home is you can have your character read books or sleep or whatever and get some experience from it. Normally they have to read a book or something and learn something, and then they can... Where's our cart at?
The wagon creaks.
Oh, there it is. Alright, just starting out, I would say just have them in there all the time, working on stuff. Until you get a nice, good cash flow going. So now we're done with that day. Well, that season, really. We're on to the next season. You'll pay wages during the season change in taxes and whatnot, so it's always important to keep an eye on your finances.
The sales tax has been changed.
So I'm going to have them start working on biscuits now. And then we're going to have our cart go and sell these again. Let's go see... So the value of them there has gone down. Let's go check marketability. It's pretty low here. So Macone might still be the best. I get 36ers, so actually it's pretty good here. So what we'll do now is we'll select our cart. Dispatch and unload. Unload and return.
Hurry!
So biscuits take longer to do, and you get 6 of them. So you actually get more.
Court sentencing has been changed.
Some of those notifications are also important to keep note of. Like, for example, severe, that thing where it says that sentencing is severe, that means that for crimes you commit and are found guilty of, your charges, sentencing will be more heavy than it would be otherwise. So like you might get the death penalty instead of just time in prison or something.
A building is under attack.
So Stug's attacking us, and now the bailiff is dealing with him. So they killed that person. So now that Radcliffe heir, I guess, is dead now. So it's kind of interesting. Like, so for example, like that now, say like that was the only child for that dynasty, and the parents were dead now, so the dynasty would be basically extinct now.
Yes.
So what can we get for these here? 39. Also 39. So it's about the same no matter where you go, so it's probably better to go to the one that's closer.
My feet hurt.
Fighters of Borlu. So eventually, one of your goals might be to try and get to be the guildmaster of patrons, for example. Or whatever discipline you chose at the beginning. So we're slowly building up our profits here. So what we can do now is we can hire another worker. And now have that person also help on making biscuits. So they'll go much faster now. Alright, every person you add on to it makes the crafting go faster. Oh wow. Those are going pretty fast. We had 6 of those, are down to 3 now. So let's go
Nothing
have this guy
but
come over
work.
here and
No road is too long.
A building is under attack.
guard Victor. So go back to resources, gemstones, very valuable. So for 20, it's just, you know, that much. It's not that exorbitant. For about 7 or 800.
Where would you like to go?
What we can do with this is essentially build. We can essentially like double the profit on it because biscuits are pretty valuable. We are running out of materials, so we'll bring some in here. I'll bring them in and refill. Yeah. So we're good to go for a whole bunch more.
Court sentencing has been changed.
This is pretty much how the game goes for the beginning. Once you get into your dynasty and you start getting more buildings, things get a little more interesting because you start building up relationships with the other dynasties, start building up feuds and competition, and things get pretty interesting. The other thing that can happen is, let's say that you're controlling your first character and then their partner. Then they have a kid, or maybe 2 kids or 3 kids. You control one of the kids. These guys get to a certain age and you decide, oh, I'm going to let them do whatever now, and I'm going to take the other 2 kids and control them instead. And so, you know, it's an interesting decision when you want to choose to stop controlling a character. Once you do that, they'll just do whatever on their own. The AI will kick in at that point. And again, you won't be able to re-control them. And that does mean that you can, like, if you wanted to, you could uncontrol your main guy, but then you would be basically stuck because you would just have to hope that they would, the character would find a partner and have kids. Otherwise, kind of screwed if they die of natural causes or otherwise. Let's have a look at our character page. So we have 317, 318 experience, which is good. Let's go ahead and spend some in bargaining, and they'll spend some in constitution. So now we're level 2. As you can see, now we need to get to 1100 experience now for the next level. And now we can also do a level 2 ability, which I'll do Mentor, because that helps you quickly build up your worker levels.
My feet hurt. I hope I don't get robbed.
So I'll go ahead and have him unload and return. That should fetch a pretty good price. Around 600 or so, 700 gold. If the price is still the same.
I hurry.
So yeah, it's still roughly the same. Wheat bread's pretty high in value. But we need to do a new building improvement for that. Or it might even be a higher level bakery than what we have. So as you can see, we already have 12 already done again.
My feet hurt. So I think what we'll do is, so I'm kind of just like barely gliding through this. I think what I'll do is I'll end the stream tonight, and then any outstanding time we have, I'll stream tomorrow for. So we have about, we'll call it 3 hours, even 3 hours, of time to make up because of breaks and otherwise. Time that was spent not streaming for the 24 hours. So we'll do 3 hours of streaming tomorrow, and what we'll do is we'll do some of the other games, and we'll come back to this. Because really you have to get pretty far into it to kind of get a better grasp of what it is. The learning curve is that deep, and the mechanics are that deep. So we're gonna end the stream for tonight, and then probably tomorrow around maybe 1:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m.-ish MST. I will start it back up again. And we'll start with one of the other games, and then we'll play a few more of the other games. I'll probably do Ceres, Heart&Slash, and one of the other ones I haven't played before, or done before on a stream before. Then we'll come back to the Guild 2 for the rest of the time. Let me go ahead and save this. And it's a really deep and complicated game. And it really kind of tests your ability to run a fictitious business, I guess you could say. But it's a pretty fun game. If you haven't played it yet, or I suggest that you go check it out. It does take a while to kind of get through the learning about how things work, because there's all kinds of stuff. The economic system itself is pretty deep in terms of the layers upon layers. Like, for example, once you get to a certain level, a certain reputation,
You can buy a new title, which allows you to get access to new buildings. You can essentially take control of the entire supply chain for a particular thing. Like, for example, you can build farms to grow wheat and beets, and then you just take that from your farm into your shop and produce it for roughly less than maybe 20 to 25% less than what you would pay for the stuff. And you can make money really quickly that way. But at the same time, you have to already have a significant amount of capital, because you have to build the farm or build the croft. You have to build the farms, the fields. Then you have to plant and hire the workers to maintain them, and then you have to build any of the other processing things in between the finished product and from that kind of wheat or the base resource. For the bakery, it's just, it's basically from the resource to the product. But in some cases, like for say weaponsmiths, you have iron ore that you pull out, then you have to turn it into a usable resource, to like ingots or something, to then craft into weapons, if I remember correctly. So it's a really interesting game. Not only is the economic system deep, everything is really deep. The political system is pretty deep in it. The dynasty system is extremely deep in terms of like the ways in which you can like mold your dynasty. So like and the way in which events can affect your dynasty as well. So like say, for example, that somehow your only heir dies and your remaining dynasty members are too old to father children, for example, to have children. So that would be basically the end of your dynasty right there. So you really have to consider that kind of stuff as well. So it's a pretty interesting game. I hope Guild 3 is as similar to it as possible. Not exactly similar, but I mean the same level of detail and depth to it, and not just like a recreation in modern graphics that's kind of watered down or something. But yeah, so the stream will continue tomorrow, and we will figure out what we're going to do. So it'll probably be, let me see what we got here. It's probably going to be probably Ceres, Project Highrise, and maybe Heart&Slash, maybe Space Colony if it'll work. And then after all that, we'll do the Guild 2 for however much time. I will set up a schedule notification for the next stream, just so that's up there too. It will be at least a 3-hour stream, maybe a little bit more, who knows. There's about rounded up to 3 hours worth of streaming that needs to be done to kind of make up for the time the stream was paused, or when I wasn't streaming for whatever reason, taking breaks for dinner or whatever. So I will see you tomorrow around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and we'll complete this not continuous 24-hour stream. Not contiguous, discontiguous. I don't know. Disconjoined 24-hour stream, I guess we call it. OBS, where are you? Time to turn you off.